have to give Barbara a 2-minute warning, John. I just want you to know that. Okay, so next we have student rep from NYPERB. Kamani Campbell, give you a round of applause. A student at CSI.
I want to start off by saying good afternoon to all you guys. Thank you guys for coming out. My name is Kamani Campbell. I am a junior here at CSI. I am currently a double major in, can't even think right now, English literature, political science, and / philosophy. So I want to start my story off by this summer. This summer, my college tuition was $8,000. Luckily, I'm under the Excelsior Scholarship, so that dropped to $1,600. During the whole summer, I had decided to not take out a loan because I wasn't financially literate at the time, but I knew that as time progressed, there would be interest added on to my loan. So luckily, I was employed at Home Depot and summer camp counselor. At Home Depot, on average, I would work 40 hours to 45 hours. And at my second job, I would work 45 hours weekly. So as time progressed, there was weeks where I had worked 85 hours on average, and my highest week was 100 hours on average. Now, some of you guys are going to ask, when did you have time to sleep? I did. I had made the sacrifice to pay off my debt without any federal assistance. In addition, during the summer, I was given a text message, an email I should say, about unsubsidized checks and subsidized checks. Now they offered me a subsidized check of $1,000 and an unsubsidized check of $365. Now what that means is with $365, I would not see no interest on, but as time progressed, I would see interest on the $1,000 unsubsidized check, which is pretty unfair because as I'm working to pay it off, it's consistently growing. So how am I supposed to chop a tree that keeps on excelling? To segue into that, I want to go further in depth with the Excelsior Scholarship. With the Excelsior, I'm from the Bronx, and I commute 2.5 hours to get here. On this semester, it's been Monday through Thursday. And I decided to not go into room and board because I wanted to invest that money into other assets. And one thing that I did do was open up my 401k, so in case I face a similar circumstance next semester, I at least have money set aside for me, so I don't have to worry about that. Now, I'm not too dependent on my parents because my parents are in their own realm where they face I can't think right now. I'm sorry. Where they face their own problems with debt from student loans. My mother being one of them, she's $100,000 in debt, and she cannot pay that off at all. So I'm trying to find ways to become more financially literate so I can not only help her out, but avoid that route. In addition, I need to complete my degree on time, or else they would take away my Excelsior Scholarship. So what that means is that all the money that I was once covered for is going to hit me again. So, and with that being said, I have to take 30 credits per year. Luckily, I've been able to finish my freshman year and sophomore year with 31 credits. In addition, I have remained out of debt. Currently, I'm debt free. So I have remained out of debt from me working in the summer, me setting aside money, and me just trying to find every scholarship possible. And one thing I did to get me through the summer was I wrote my goals down on the wall, and I wrote my goals down and put them on my wall, so every day I would wake up to it as encouragement. And eventually I started waking off ambition instead of any alarm. I had to work insanely hard. Like my second semester of my freshman year, I had 7 classes. And like I said, I came from the Bronx. So that was where I first suffered, I'm not gonna say suffered, but I had went through insomnia where I was up almost 24 hours all the time. So I feel like this is not fair to any student, let alone anybody, whether it be faculty, whoever, because this puts wear and tear down on your body. So let's say you have a family to look after, it becomes hard. Let's say you're disabled or handicapped, it's also another fence that you have to climb. And currently, one thing that I've been investing my time into was that students are defaulting on their student loans. So some students are $25,000 in debt, $30,000 in debt, and instead of them paying off their loan gradually, they just wouldn't pay it off at all, which would eventually lead to the federal government garnishing their checks, freezing them, and putting them further down the hole. Some reasons why the issue isn't working for students is budget cuts. Some budget cuts that have impacted the school would be tuition spikes and tuition increases. I believe, as John said, in June, the tuition now went up, I believe, $300, and it's perceived to keep going up. Furthermore, students will need to take out bigger loans and find new resources. And like I said, with the Excelsior, you have to be a full-time student. Some people, unfortunately, cannot be a full-time student because of dependency and their own family or life in general. When the governor proposed his tuition hikes in 2011, he promised the state would continue to invest in the university, and that has never happened. One issue would be the TAP gap, where students get the highest award in the TAP gap would be $5,000, and tuition by itself is $6,700 or $6,300, somewhere around that ballpark. That doesn't make any sense, because then you're going to have to find a number of scholarships also to maintain you for books or any other college expenses. NYPIRG has found a way that while state support for the students has been stagnant, students have invested an additional $2.5 billion into the state's university system, but there has been little benefit there as well. In terms of infrastructure, during my time at CSI, I have been in some classes where it's been overcrowded. There's been holes in the ceilings. There's constant garbage bags over urinals where it's constantly out of service. A lot of faculty has been reduced to almost, I believe, half, if not a little bit lower. And that's bizarre. Aside from that, they have cut library hours. So during final week, when the library comes in clutch, hours have been cut, I believe, twice, and it opens up later. And this year alone, we've had 2 power outages so far, which is ridiculous. From a student's perspective, I was able to retain further knowledge from my fellow peers, and one thing that they complained about was the number of advisors. And within the number of advisors as well, there's not a lot of people that seem like they could possibly provide support for a student. And some students feel like advisement just doesn't reach out to them at all. The classrooms are overcrowded, as I said. A lot of students don't receive financial aid due to their predicaments and certain limitations placed on these scholarships, which is unfortunate. And that they're going to be further in debt and further take out bigger loans that will further sustain them in debt. On average, a college degree is worth about, I'd say, $100,000 after the 4 years, and half of the time people don't pursue the career that they wanted to with that degree, causing them to work at a job that, say, generates $50,000 a year, $75,000 a year. So if you do the math, that person is going to keep having to pay debt and not eventually find a way out. And student debt is more severe than debt on a car or debt on any other liability. And another perspective for me would be seeing my closest friends drop out due to tuition costs. I've had 2 friends so far either go back to the streets or whatever the case may be, due to them not being able to afford for tuition. And I would just say that it's bad timing. And I've been trying to, help them find scholarships gradually, but it is hard. One solution that I would say for why we should value a free CUNY is higher education can provide a vital pathway to create a greater economy. Now, with that being said, if tuition is reduced, more people would feel like they can, I wouldn't say play around in classes, but find a field that best suits them. Because a lot of students don't have, the leeway to, let me go into this class, I don't like it. Then you got to pay for that class, and then you're keep jumping around where you can't find where you fit in. causing people to drop out as well. And I believe CUNY's graduation, well, CSI's graduation rate is, I believe, 36 or 30%, which is crazy. On average, a college-educated worker makes $17,500, more than a high school educated counterpart. With that being said as well, a lot of faculty have been getting their jobs cut. Last week, I was talking to a professor, and I felt very engaged in their class, and I was like, will you be teaching the second level next semester? They said, unfortunately not, because they will not be able to work here anymore because the school does not see value in what they teaching. And this has been happening rapidly. Aside from that, I was talking to my sign language teacher the other day, and she has 4 jobs outside of what she teaches. And she has no office hours. So you can't really get in contact with her in case you are falling behind or you are failing class. I feel like we need to reduce income I feel that free CUNY would reduce income inequality due to it going farther and farther apart. As more educated workforces would provide more revenue for the state. For every dollar invested into education, the state sees a $4 on that investment. Furthermore, in conclusion, I would say that we need to fight this upcoming legislative session to finally have a student-friendly state budget that supports opportunity for all, because nobody should have to work 80 hours to afford school. What I did this summer was honestly ridiculous, and I feel like if the odds happen again, I would definitely do it again, just because I would not want to be in debt. And I feel like we do need to expand on financial literacy, especially for incoming college freshmen. Another thing would be to join on NYPIRG. It is a very good organization. Since I've been here, me and Garrett have been knocking things out left and right and trying to increase student awareness and more benefits for students and faculty.